Hi and welcome to the fourth Sunday. We're just about ready for Christmas. Today is special because it's Joseph's story. We have Christmas from the experience of Joseph. And this is important because in the Gospel of Matthew, he's writing for a Jewish audience and their question is Jesus the Messiah? And the Messiah must come from the line of David, and Joseph comes from the line of David. So it becomes very important for Joseph to say yes and to name his son Jesus, because that meets all the Jewish requirements of putting Jesus in the line of David. But have you ever thought, we often spend a lot of time with Mary's yes in her Annunciation, but this is Joseph's yes, and there's a lot at stake. Mary and Joseph were actually fully married. In the Jewish custom, sometimes with a young woman, they would be married, but the young woman would stay with her mum and dad for 1 or 2 years until ready to go and live at her husband's house. So Mary and Joseph were married, but they were not living together. And Joseph finds himself in the situation, finding Mary to be pregnant, knows this is not mine. And so he's making his careful decision what to do. And he shows himself as a righteous man and quietly seeks not to embarrass Mary. But here in the dream, a messenger from the angel, Joseph, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife. And what strikes me is Joseph probably had made up his mind. He's now shown as deeply obedient and faithful to God and to love of Mary. And he gets up from his bed, from his sleep, and does what he's been asked to do. What an amazing example of Joseph being someone completely open to God. And as we celebrate Christmas, God's coming among us and saving us in Christ, it really does require Mary and Joseph to both say a yes to God and a yes to each other. And we're invited to continue that line of saying yes to God and yes to each other as we seek to continue to build God's kingdom and God's reign on earth, begun at Christmas. All the best as you download, pray and reflect with Living the Word this week. There's questions about the stubborn King Ahaz. There's the slave to freedom of St. Paul, that sign of being an Emmanuel, and Joseph's story, his yes and his experience today.